Anyway, it's Christmas Eve, and my daughter and I just finished baking cookies for Santa. He put her to bed while I snooped his phone. That's where I found everything. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, My Husband Slept With My Sister, Help. And guys, this story is about a woman. She is looks like she's about 23, 24 years old. She already has kids. And long story short, she is, at the beginning of this story, she was 9 months pregnant, literally any day about ready to burst. And lo and behold, she found out right before she's about to give birth, she found pictures and proof that her husband was hooking up with her sister. Her sister, who she hadn't seen in years, for whatever reason, cut her out of her life, now is back in the picture, and she's hooking up with her husband. I mean, you want to talk about two freaking lowlives. It's about this whole thing, how it goes down, what she discovers, and let me tell you, it isn't just like they're having regular, boring, vanilla sex. They were doing all sorts of stuff that, you're going to find about there that really made it even worse for her. And then you're going to see how this whole thing plays out, but it never fails to show you the crazy world we live in, Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, and the awful shit that people do to each other. And as you can probably imagine, she then gave birth and probably figured out, what the hell do I do with this whole thing here? So, I'm going to get into this. She says, she starts, so I'm going to make it short. I posted in a marriage subreddit, but someone linked me here. I might have better results here. So I was 9 months pregnant. My son was coming on December 26th. My oldest sister just moved into my apartment building with her sons and husband in October. She became assistant manager damn near instantly. My sister cut me out of her life when I was 15, so it's been a good 8 or 9 years since I've seen her. And she's finally back. I was so happy I couldn't get over myself. So, she disappeared for 8 or 9 years? And actually said, didn't disappear, cut her out of her life. What's going on here? Who's the one? Is the sister, is this girl telling the story? Is something seriously wrong with her while the sister cut her out? Or is the other sister a complete a-hole? Well, I think it's kind of obvious at this point. She says here that she was over at my apartment all the time. Late at night into the early mornings. I got to finally spend time with my nephews, and my daughters could finally spend time with their cousins. Daughters. So she's like 23, 24 years old, and she has multiple children at this point. A little young in my opinion. It was a dream come true, but my partner was different. He was always spending time with her. Always being getting on his phone with her. I didn't think much of it, but I asked if he was sleeping with her anyway. He said no, and I stupidly believed him. Why would they sleep together anyway? She's my sister. Boy, was I wrong. So, okay, why is she allowing him to be talking to her all the time by texting and all that, and hanging out with her? Now, obviously, she can't be there every second of the day to control him, but that is not cool, okay? Now, I obviously cater to a men's audience, but when guys are acting like complete a-holes, then I'm going to call them on it. Absolutely every freaking time. And this is all assuming that she's being 100% truthful about the whole story, not leaving things out like, I don't know, maybe she's been awful to him or something like that. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt that, she's actually been decent to him, and he's just, a piece of shit. She says, anyway, it's Christmas Eve, and my daughter and I just finished baking cookies for Santa. He put her to bed while I was snooping his phone. That's where I found everything. All the dirty texts, the pictures. I found out that they did backdoor action. Gotta watch what I say here. He even came in her caboose. Classy, huh? Vaginal sex, shower, pleasuring themselves over a video. She was on top, on the side, on my effing couch while I was in the shower. I was on crutches because my pelvic bone separated at the time. I was completely crushed. He did more with her in an effing week and a half than we've done our whole 5 years together. And now here's a question. Who's worse, her husband or her sister? Well, in my opinion, her sister, because this is family, this is blood. Well, her suspicions were accurate. You want to talk about pieces of shit. Again, she's ready to burst from giving birth to this guy's maybe third child at this point. And again, it wasn't just regular vanilla stuff. It was all sorts of freaky shit here. 2 days later, I gave birth to our son. I couldn't hold him or look at him. They placed me on suicide watch. Things are better now. I'm holding my son finally after 2 months of dealing with this. My girls are starting to smile again, which is important to me. I forgave my sister. What? She said she was jealous of me and wanted attention. Oh, okay. Blame it on her. No. She shouldn't have this. This sister should not be in her life at all. It is amazing to me the awful stuff that siblings will do to each other because of jealousy. And the worst, what I've observed in life, are women. What sisters will do to each other because of jealousy and spite and all that. Someone like this, you cut out of your life forever. It was a reason she was out of this girl's life for 8 or 9 years. Forgave her? Hell no. She says she was jealous and wanted my attention. Bullshit. Her self-esteem is low. I forgave her enough where I can see her in person without crying. My husband said it was because he wasn't getting enough attention. He felt he wasn't cared about, even though I cried him every night asking what was wrong with him. Way to twist. Usually in the stories, there's the woman twisting it around, making the guy to be the bad guy. Now the guy's twisting it around, making her to be the bad guy. Again, this is assuming she's being truthful with this whole story here. She was 9 months pregnant. So, of course, she wasn't giving him all this attention because she was carrying a freaking human being in her stomach and watching the 2 little ones. I mean, cut the girl some slack here, for God's sakes. My problem is jealousy. I'd never been jealous of my sister before, but while he was sleeping with her, he'd say that her boobs were better than mine, that she gives better BJs than me, her hoo-ha is way tighter than mine, her bum is more fun than mine, the list goes on and on. I can't even look in the mirror now. Every time I see my boobs, I cry. He can't even touch me now because all I can picture is her. This guy's terrible. I mean, okay, she had the kid now. In my opinion, it is time to start figuring out an exit strategy. Kick the sister out of her life, inform the sister's husband of this wrongdoing, and time to figure out an exit strategy. If the situation was reversed and a guy was being treated in such a manner, I'd be telling him to figure out his exit strategy. Nobody should put up with this shit. I'm seeing individual counseling right now and a low self-esteem group therapy. We're both seeing a marriage counselor. I also have CAS involved to help me spend time with my children instead of hiding out in my bedroom. Well, I don't know what CAS is. I don't want to leave him. What, and keep staying with this dude that does this awful shit to you? Things can be done. I understand that pain may be too much and I'll end up leaving anyway, which is fine. But I'm trying to start this relationship anew. Our old one is dead. I need to help moving forward. How do I look at my body now? How can he touch me again? He tells me he loves mine more, but he's already told me and said to me when I first found out that hers is better. She had 2 kids vaginally, and although all 3 kids were done via C-section, and I do Kegels while having you know what, and she's still tighter than me. Great. He says the angle she was in, and when they did it the first time upstairs, but I don't believe that. You wouldn't blurt that out during SCX. Wow. You're so much tighter than Sarah. If you didn't generally feel that way, what a way to put me down. Man, this guy's a lowlife. And he obviously picked a woman that obviously has such low self-esteem. But here's the deal. Obviously, a gal's not going to look her best when she's carrying a little human being in her and 9 months pregnant. But the weight can come off and she can do things. Obviously, the body isn't different here. I'm a personal trainer, in case a lot of you guys don't know that. And I've worked with a lot of women that have had children. And believe me, they can go back to looking pretty damn good when they're done. It's not 100% the same, but things can be done, which I'll come to later on. It says, I just want to rip my boobs off because they're not perky and they're saggy. And so my hoo-ha shut at this point. I can't wear clothes. I look fat in them. I can't even one-up her. I've never been jealous before. How do I get over this? How do I become okay with my body all over again? Believe I'm better than hers. How do I stop this one-sided competition? I can't stand it anymore. Please help. Any tips or tricks? Because even if I did leave now, I'd still be feeling this way, and that advice isn't very helpful. How do I love my body again? How do I believe him when he says mine is better? Thank you for any replies I get. This is a real struggle. I'm still offing myself watch. Please help. Any answers would be helpful. I don't want to get tipped off again. Thanks, guys. Well, okay, so again, on the basis he's being truthful with all this, first of all, in my opinion, cut that sister out of her life completely. She's a piece of garbage. She's a liar. She's a cheater. She's a user. Look what she did to you. Your own sister, your own blood. Cut her out of your life. And tell her husband what she did, because that guy doesn't deserve to be married to some low life like her. Second thing, in my opinion, is in terms of the self-esteem and all that stuff like that, it's good she's going to individual therapy to help herself out. But in my opinion, doing what she can to lose the weight and shape up her body. Starting being on a healthy diet, eating clean, healthy food, joining a gym. And she can't join a gym because she's got 3 kids now, working out at home, some videos, stuff like that. It's a company like Peloton, I think, has like online videos you can follow, I believe. Or there's other things you can do. YouTube videos to follow exercise routines, get a lightweight set, stuff like that to work out. If that doesn't work, maybe a gym, hiring a trainer. There's certain apps out there that really help people out with weight loss. One of them is called Weight Watchers. They're fantastic. I've had multiple clients use it and have tremendous success. It helps assign points to food groups, teaches you all about food. It sets you in a certain range every day, how many points, which is associated with food, you can have in a day to reach your goal. And she can do that and transform her body to look a hell of a lot better, to feel better for herself, not for him, but for her. Also, at the same time, quite frankly, I'd be figuring an exit strategy to leave this piece of shit. As I always advise guys whose wives are cheating on them, they know about it or have done awful things, that's it. Because you know what? He'll do it again. And aside from the fact that he'll do it again, also the fact that he's been saying these awful things to her makes it even worse. It shows what he's like, okay? Nobody should deal with that, and let's be honest, guys, we all have sisters or female cousins or daughters or moms. We want them being treated this way, so I'm going to respond to this on the basis to help her out. Figure out an exit strategy. Talk to an attorney. Find out your options. Since, well, we all know the deck is stacked against guys, whether right or wrong, we know that she could probably make out pretty darn well in the situation with the state behind her. It is what it is. And get the hell away from this guy and the sister and all that, and embrace any family members that are helpful to her, that she can trust, or friends to help her move on. She's not going to be able to do this overnight, but eventually go from there, because staying in that situation is the worst thing you could do. End of story. Now, real quick, I'm going to read a few comments here. One of them says, first, you did not cause your spouse or sister to cheat. Second, your husband belittling your body and sexuality is a form of emotional abuse. Third, you probably will only be able to understand the first 2 points after reclaiming some of your self-worth. I was married to a serial cheater, and after 16 years of marriage and 3 children, I had little to no self-worth left. I ultimately came to the emotionally abusive nature of my marriage and how I allowed myself to believe my worth was wrapped up in his love. I decided to end my marriage when I was strong enough to know I deserved better. It's not a cakewalk, but I actually feel good about myself, and I've grown tremendously. It's a hard road back to reclaiming your intrinsic worth, but you are worth the effort, believe me. There you go. That was from a woman. Of course, staying in this situation is an awful thing, because if she's having all these thoughts about ending herself, terrible situation to be. Nobody should be in that, okay? It's got to be over with. End of story. Another person says, tell your sister's husband that she's a cheater and file for divorce. Your husband is downright nasty, selfish, and mean. He is abusive and a cheater. Get yourself and your kids away from him. Yeah, because he's going to mess up the kids too, I might add. And the kids, think about this. If she doesn't want to leave him for her own reason of being attached to him, okay, do it for the kids, because the kids are going to grow up in a household seeing all this turmoil and all that, and the kids will be screwed up. And if she loves her kids, even though it'll be hard, they can't be around that. Otherwise, they'll be messed up too, and I know she doesn't want that. I hope. And the last person says, your sister needs to go, and so should your husband. They've crushed you. It's time to move out from under that weight. Exactly. And there's plenty of other people on there supporting her, saying the same thing. So again, I don't really cater to men, obviously, because most of you guys follow my other channel and know this, but at the end of the day, I try to keep things fair, and I will say this: if a guy's a piece of crap, he needs to go just as well as a piece of crap woman. But especially get that sister out of it, because, again, it wasn't just the boring vanilla sex. It was all sorts of freaky stuff, and I'm sure that was just out of spite that she was doing that. And what I tell you guys about, how many stories have I done where the guy's mortified when he finds out that his wife or girlfriend used to do all sorts of stuff back in the day, but she wouldn't give him. Why? Because she wanted that guy's attention and validation, or she has ulterior motives. The sister here was willing to do all this stuff that a lot of women wouldn't do, obviously for a reason, probably just to stick it to her sister. But she was sticking it with his stick. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let us know what you think about this. Have you ever heard any of these stories like this? Somebody you knew whose sister was doing the husband or whatever? Let's hear about it in the comment section, because Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 world, can't make this shit up. And guys, you come across a crazy story you'd like to share, one from your own personal life or some crazy story you found online, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just make sure you write out well and post the links. Give me some time and I'll get to it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.